great news. Today is I'm going to share about materials for the teaching grammar. So, since there are so many topics about grammar, so I choose active and passive voice. Here is the detailed explanation of the active and passive voice. What do you mean by voice? Voice is the form of a verb that shows whether the subject of a sentence does the action, the active voice, or is affected by it, the passive voice. So example, in the sentence, James hates the ball. The verb hate is the active voice. In other words, the form of hate shows the subject James did the action. The sentence James hates the ball is an active sentence. In the sentence, the ball was hit by James. The verb was hit is in the passive voice. In other words, the form was hit shows that the subject, the ball, was affected by the action. The sentence, the ball was hit by James, is an passive sentence. So, here are some more examples. Active, the ball hit Janet. In passive, Janet was hit or Janet was hit by the ball. In active, he wrote a letter. And in the passive, the letter was written. The letter was written by him. For example, when you want to tell about an action, but you don't want to mention who does it. Joe broke the window. It's clear who did it. The window was broken. Here, you only describe the action without mentioning who actually did it. Another use of the passive voice is when you want to emphasize the object and not the subject. Charles sold the company. Here is the emphasis is on Charles doing the action. The company was sold. Here the emphasis is on the fact that the company was sold. So, active and passive voice example. In this section, we'll give active and passive voice example and explanation to help you learn this important subject. What do active and passive voice mean? In the active voice, the agent person or think that doing the action is the subject of the sentence. For example, a dog. The dog bite the mailman. Now, in the passive voice, the agent is either not known or else important. For example, a mailman. The mailman was bitten. The agent is not known or not specified. The mailman was bitten by the dog. The agent, the dog, is less important than the object of the mailman. And how do we make a passive sentence? So, the important factors in creating the passive sentence is the third form of a verb, also called volume 3 or the past participle. So, in the irregular verbs have the same past participle and a simple past form, but irregular verbs can be different. So, in the conclusion, it is important to understand the grammar. It's an aspect of the language. So it is necessary, but that does not mean that seems to be awful difficult or impossible to learn. So that's all for our video, and thank you so much for watching. Hope you will like it.